My doctor that was supposed to come back that day, he didn't come back because apparently he broke his tooth. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yawen, and today I'm going to be going over my birth story with Cassian. He is my first and only child so far. So I'm a first-time mom. I'm going to be going over things that happened 5.5 months ago. That's when he was born, so hopefully I will be able to remember everything. But with that being said, this video is going to maybe have some things that are TMI or just general things about birth. If you don't like that kind of stuff, or you know me personally and don't want to hear about that stuff because it's weird, you can skip this video and I won't be offended or anything. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so my original due date was March 15th of this year, and this is my first pregnancy, and I had read that with people's first pregnancy, you're most likely gonna go over the 40-week mark. Like a lot of people have to be like induced or whatever, so that's what I always had in my mind, is that I'm probably gonna go over 40 weeks. I'm probably gonna go to like 41 weeks or something before he came. I had like all his nursery ready. I had my hospital bag packed, I think around 35 weeks. So anyways, I said that because I did not expect to have my water be broken at 37 weeks. But that's exactly what happened. So I worked all the way up until my water broke. That day I went to work as usual. I went to go work out at lunch as usual because my company provides this fitness incentive at work where we bring in 2 coaches and we do like what is that called? CrossFit type of workout. So I've been doing it my whole pregnancy, even a little bit before my pregnancy. So they come every week, 3 times a week. So I went to class like any other time that day, and it is pretty intense. And of course, the coaches always tell me to only push myself as far as I feel comfortable, but I felt great my whole pregnancy. So, and I kept up with the workout, and it's just pretty routine. And I did push myself pretty hard, and I do use a lot of weights and stuff. I'll try to insert some pictures here. They actually took some pictures of us working out that day, and they normally don't take pictures of us working out, so it's kind of weird that it happened, but I'm glad they did, so I have like something to document what I was doing. That, like, I don't know, I think that is what made me go into early labor. This was all on February the 26th. So, and my due date was March 15th, so it's almost 3 weeks early. Anyways, so I felt fine after the workout, went back to work. That evening, I actually went out with my company for a dinner too, and I got home around 8, maybe 9ish, and then Will and I went to bed. And then around 1 or 1:30 in the morning, I feel this big gush of wetness between my legs, and I had one of those pregnancy pillows, those long, like kind of C-shaped pillows that you put between your legs, and then you kind of put your belly on top of it for like support. So I had that between my legs, and then the water gush, and then I immediately knew what just happened. And I get up really quickly, run to the bathroom, clean myself up. I come back and let Will know, like, hey, my water just broke. We gotta go to the hospital. So the whole time we're both pretty calm. We had everything packed. We just got everything in the car and then drove to the hospital. That's only 5 minutes away. So even if we forgot anything, it's not a big deal. But since it's like in the middle of the night, we had to check in through the emergency department, and there was like no one in the waiting room. They wheeled me up to labor and delivery. They checked me in. I had already pre-checked in like a couple weeks prior when I did the hospital tour, so I didn't have to do any paperwork. I went straight to my delivery room that I was gonna stay in the whole time. And they immediately did the Doppler maybe ultrasound, to check on the baby, and they had this like little litmus paper kind of thing where they can test to see if it was actually my water that broke or if it's just, I don't know, some other fluid, which I knew my water broke, but they made sure of that, and then I was officially checked in. But at this point, I didn't feel any pressure, any pain, any contractions. I never even really had any Braxton Hicks contractions up until this point, so nothing. But they just put a baby fetal monitor on, put some monitors on me, and pretty much they said just to wait to see if it progresses naturally, to see if my contractions would start, and they would come and check up on me like every couple of hours. And they did the dilation test or whatever, and then I was only like half a centimeter when I got there, which is not much at all, because the week prior I went to the OB and they did the check, and that's where I was at too. So I was not going into labor, but I had to be admitted because my water broke. So I'm there a couple of hours, nothing's happening, and then the my doctor from my gynecology clinic left for the night, and then he was going to come back and check on me the next day, I think in the afternoon or something, when he's back in his on his new shift. I originally didn't want any pain medication or epidural at all, so at this point I didn't need anything anyway, so we're just trying to get some rest. The next morning, that's when they checked on me again, nothing was happening, and then that's when they started me on pitocin, which is to try to speed up the labor process, to try to jumpstart my contractions and stuff. So I was on that for a very, very long time. So all of the next day that I was on pitocin, nothing really happened. I think maybe around 6 that evening, I started getting some pain, some contractions. Nothing major, and then they dialed up the pitocin, and then it started to kick up pretty fast, and then the pain was getting pretty bad, like really bad. So at this point I had been in labor for about 20 hours and nothing's happening, and I've been on pitocin pretty much the whole time, and then the pain starts to really escalate, like within like an hour or two. It got pretty bad, and I still didn't really want to get the epidural, but since I was on pitocin for so long, or just on pitocin at all, the doctor said that the labor pain is going to be a lot worse than if it was just like a naturally occurring birth without being on pitocin. So the pain was really, really bad, and I thought I had like a really high pain threshold, but oh my gosh. I didn't cry or scream or anything, but it's just so painful and uncomfortable. So I finally gave in because I was scared, because at a certain point, if you can't sit still while they give you the epidural, then you can't get it anymore. So I was like, because the nurse kept telling me I'm still like hours and hours away from being ready to push. So I was like, oh heck no, I'm not doing this for more time. So I finally decided to get the epidural at maybe around 9 p.m. on the 27th of February. And oh my gosh, that was such a lifesaver. I don't know why I really didn't want an epidural. I didn't really even have a reasoning for it. But next time, next birth, I'm definitely having the epidural in my birth plan. So after that, I was finally able to get some rest. Still couldn't fall asleep because it was still pretty uncomfortable, and Will and my mom were with me at that time, and then my mother-in-law Sherry came a little bit later, but she couldn't stay the whole time. But it was nice to have company there. It was like a very relaxed environment. Everyone was pretty in a good mood, tired but in a good mood. I was in a good mood. And just really excited for the arrival of our little baby Cassian. And so I was on pitocin and on the epidural for a couple of hours. And finally, around maybe 2 a.m. on the 27th of February, the nurse came in and said that I was ready to push. But since I was on the epidural, I couldn't really feel my contraction, so I had to look at the little monitor that shows when you have a contraction. So every time it like reached the peak, she's like, do your thing, push. I forgot exactly what she told me, but I had to push, push as hard as you can for like for their countdown. You had to do it 3 times in a row. So like, you can take a quick breath in between each of the pushes, but you had to do 3 in a row. But that was so tiring. But I'm glad I worked out when I was pregnant, because knowing me and how out of shape I was before I started working out, I think that would have been tough. To do, because it was so tiring. Plus I didn't really sleep for like the past 24 hours, and I couldn't eat anything at all. They didn't even give me water to drink. I can only eat the ice chips, but I cheated a little bit and drank the water after the ice chips melted. Oh my gosh, yeah, because I see some other people's delivery vlogs or talking about it, and they can have like jello and juice and stuff. I guess every hospital's protocol might be different. Anyways, once I started pushing, it was like my epidural had like started to wear off at this point, I feel like, because you know, they give you the clicker thing, you can control it yourself if you want more, but mine ran out, and then we didn't have time to get like another bag or whatever in there, so I feel like it was starting to run out, which was fine because then I can feel my legs and do the pushing more. So oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. But my doctor that was supposed to come back that day, he didn't come back because apparently he broke his tooth. Like, why does this happen to me? I don't know. so he wasn't there. It was just going to be another doctor that was on call that I met briefly earlier in the day. But at this point, it was just the nurse in the room with us. And she was coaching me. She was great. And then I think I was pushing for maybe like an hour, and then the whole time she kept telling me like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna push for like another hour or something, and like sometimes I wasn't pushing right because I was like scared to poop on the table. I think everyone is scared to poop on the table, so I was holding back a little bit, but then I think in the end I just didn't really care anymore, so I started pushing harder, and plus I was getting like the hang of it more, and then I hear her tell me, hey, stop pushing, your baby's head's like hanging out, I have to go get the doctor because the doctor has to deliver the baby. And then once the baby's head's like almost out or is hanging out or whatever, it's, you can't just stop pushing. It's like you have the human urge to just keep pushing, so I had to like hold him in for like, I don't know, it felt like a long time, but I'm sure it was probably like 3-4 minutes. I had to wait for the on-call doctor to come in, and she literally just walked in and then like grabbed the baby. Yeah, I don't know if I could have held on for much longer. So anyway, so there he is, born almost 3 weeks early, but nice and healthy at 7 pounds and 13 ounces. After he was born, they immediately put him on my chest. We did the delayed cord clamping, so they waited until the cord stopped pulsating, and then we'll cut it. So I think there's some benefits to that. You'll have to read up on it if you're curious, but I forgot the details by the time I knew that was something that I wanted to do. So after Will clip the clamp, they put him on my chest to do some skin to skin, and then they were sewing me up, but they had to like do some kind of pressing on my stomach to get all the blood and the placenta out. And I had a condition where I had like an extra lobe in my placenta, which doesn't affect the pregnancy anyway, but they just want to monitor it and make sure that the whole extra piece comes out. So they were like massaging to make sure that comes out. Also, since I was on pitocin for so long, I was at an increased risk for hemorrhaging, so they really had to make sure all the blood was out. So she was pressing on my stomach so hard, and that part hurt more, I feel like, than any part of the birthing process. yeah, like I couldn't even hold on to Cassie anymore. At one point, he was like kind of flopping around because I just couldn't even hold on to him anymore. So my mom and Will took him, and then he was like fine in great hands, of course. But and they kept doing that thing to my stomach, and then like at one point I literally grabbed the nurse's hand like out of like just a reflex because it hurt so freaking bad. But anyways, it was eventually done, and then we got our golden hour with Cassian where it was just us in the room with him, and they didn't have any medical people come in, which was really nice. So we just got to cuddle and hang out with him, with our sweet little baby. That was like the best hour ever. And then we got moved to the whatchamacallit, post-delivery room, like on the other side of the wing, where we spent, I think, 2 or 3 extra days. Not extra days, we spent 2 or 3 more days there. We did spend 1 extra day there because Cassian did have a high bilirubin count, so he had to be under like the blue NICU light to get that under control. And then we left on the next day, on I think March 1st, I think. Alright, we got 2 special guests here.
1 and 2.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, what was your most memorable part about my delivery, besides this cutie, of course?
Well, I would say, once he was out, and they quickly cleaned him off, and I got to hold him, take a look into his face while, the nurses were pressing on her stomach. It looked really uncomfortable and painful. But during that time, I got to have some awesome bonding time with this little guy.
I know. I looked over, and then you and my mom were like in the corner with him, and no one is even caring about me like flopping on the table being squished and stuff.
Yeah. Why would we? Huh?
Yeah. Cool.
That was great. Looking into his little eyes.
Thanks for this interview.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, that was pretty much it. Overall, it was a really good experience, I would say, even though he came early, even though my doctor broke his tooth. Yeah. But everything worked out in the end. And this was right before COVID like got really bad here in the US. So at that time there wasn't even any effect on my childbirthing process. They didn't limit on visitors. We didn't have to wear masks or anything like that. So maybe we got a little bit lucky by him coming a little bit earlier, because I think in the middle of March it was already getting strict, and there were a lot of cases here already. So who knows? Maybe he knew, and then he decided that was the best route for us. But either way, glad he made his entrance happy and healthy, and he is 5 months already, a little bit over 5 months, and I can't believe it's been that long already. But I'm sure I'm forgetting some details, but yeah, I would do it again, definitely. Well, thank you guys for listening to my story. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, or if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you. Bye.